Hey guys, Keyforge here, and we're finally bringing you episode 4 of our set review where we're going to be kind of making some decks. We're going to go through those decks and explain why we made those decks and what we'd like to see in those decks, as well as talk about a few other things about the set itself. So we're going to start off with Matt's deck that he made first, and then we'll go through my deck, and then we'll go through those other categories. So yeah, the first card that Matt put on his deck list is Dark Minion, which is Dark Minion is the 1 power, enhance 1 damage, and when he's destroyed, deal 1 damage to each enemy creature.
Yeah, so Dark Minion was an obvious choice for this deck. I have a couple roles that I'm trying to run with this. Dis is a great house in this set. I actually had a lot of trouble figuring out what I wanted to do with this, so I kind of went with the more fun, in my opinion, mode, and I'm trying to run Dis in its destroyed effects mode. So giving the enhance to itself, or giving it the enhance to other creatures just helps be able to ping my own dudes. Or if I'm in a pinch, I could ping their dudes, and I could even ping them. I could ping my dark minion to trigger the destroyed effect. Like it just kind of synergizes with the mode I'm trying to run.
Yeah, so he has that, and then next he has Dominator Bauble, which I think is a pretty obvious choice.
Yeah, you can't have a dis at top table without Dominator Bottle, in my opinion. It's just it makes your houses work together. It really ties it in. Being able to just use any other friendly creature is just too powerful. And the way I kind of like built my disc is actually to work with my Saurians, which we'll get to in a bit. I found that Saurians and discs actually synergize really well together. So being able to interchange and work with both at the same time is definitely very helpful.
So next, which is I think an interesting pick because I think there's a better card than this, and we'll see why you picked this. But Imp Spectre, who gets a damage blip from the Dark Minion. How come you picked him over Brabble?
When I first typed up the list, I literally had it typed in as Inspector or Brabble, um, because I had so much difficulty picking between the two. The Amber Loss is great, and I agree that Brabble is a better card, but I was thinking about it, and this house, or not this house, this set has so many good cards, um, and I'm trying to race the clock a little bit. So I feel like Imp Spectre kind of makes it so that like maybe I might hit their card. Maybe I might hit that card that makes their deck run or operate. And I do know that Brabble is the better choice, but I want Imp Spectre to work, and I want it to work and be fun.
And that's fair. That's fair. Next is another surprising pick. You got Essence Scale.
I do have X and scale. Um, this when we went over the review, I know we kind of were like, this card's meh. It gives you the amber, which is great. Um, being it being able to destroy one of my creatures with a destroy effect just kind of runs with the synergy of what I'm trying to do with this. So what my idea for this card is to do is to destroy one of my own dudes with a destroy effect, and then go in and use another one of my dis dudes, which whatever, you're not supposed to do that as much. But I also have some logos boys that really work well with Essence Scale as well. Not so much with my Saurians, but I have some logos boys I can hit with Essence Scale that can kind of set up for really fun plays.
Okay. And next we have where is it? Soul Keeper. Here we go. Soul Keeper is pretty obvious too. If you're going to be destroying your own creatures, it makes sense to have something to kill them too.
Yeah, it gives me more options. It's as simple as that. It just gives me more options to cards that don't already have destroyed effects.
All right. I see that you don't have Eaton's Jar in your deck, which
Listen, I don't want to talk about it. It was the last card I took out. The last card I took out.
card. Wait, where am I? Card 48. Okay, sorry, I'm looking at his numbers here. Okay. Oh yeah, this is the destroy each other creature, and then he gains +1. He's really good, so makes sense.
Literally just works with the flow of what I'm trying to do with my dis. Um, not only that, but it's just a board wipe, and then it's a board wipe that leaves me ahead.
Yeah, yeah, he's really good. And then we got Chubaru, which makes sense with all your destruction, and especially with Skixuno.
Yeah, I'll lose 3 all day to gain 5, especially if I'm doing it in the same turn. Also, he has taunt, so even if I can't destroy him, I'm gonna make you destroy him because I have other bombs on board that you're gonna want to get through True Brew to get to.
Yeah, as long as he dies eventually, he's good.
Yeah.
And next we have four of the sins. First one we have is envy. So envy is if reap if you have two or more friendly sin creatures capture all of your opponent's amber.
Yeah, so capture is kind of the second mode I'm running with the decks. And you're gonna see more of the capture later because you obviously you didn't see a lot in Dis, and there's only 4 cards left in Dis, and those are the sins. But having the sins in the deck not only works really well with my Dis that I already have, um, but it also ties in extra synergy with my dinos. And not only is it going to be very fun, but I feel like it's going to make it a lot more efficient than it would seem to be.
Yeah, and all of your sins have draw blips on them, which is good luck.
Yeah. Um, I added the draw blips. They're from a couple of my logo boys that we'll get to in a
Form
bit.
and then Cronus.
Yeah, Infomorph and Cronus. This is because I want the deck to be quicker. If my win con isn't because if you've noticed so far, we haven't seen a lot of cards that have amber bonuses on the side. Um, so if I'm trying to win with like a very situational win con, I need to be able to speed the deck up. I would like to be able to draw into my other sins and just like bomb, 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 but I know that's unlikely. So, but it definitely does thin the deck out so that it increases the chances of me getting what I need.
All right, and next we have Gluttony, who is play for each friendly sin creature. You exalt him, and then reap move all amber from all of your friendly creatures to your pool, which obviously goes well with Saurians.
Yeah, I mean it's perfect because not only does it go at Saurians, but he's like the best friend of the last card we just went over. Envy and Gluttony, it's just all right, tag team mode. So I have Envy a capture it all, put it on all my dudes, do their effects, and then Gluttony's just like, nah, it's mine now. Good game, I guess. Get up, walk from the table, shake your hand.
Yeah, it is pretty good. Next we have Greed, who is pretty much just mother for every sin creature.
Yeah, I was picking between Greed and one of the other ones that I didn't put in, and I was just like, what, I really need to I need to focus on speed a little bit. And this helps me thin out my deck. So that's pretty much why I just chose Greed. Plus
Well,
his Bishop is
I
better
think
than the
he's yeah, I think he's the third best one, and then
yeah.
Pride is definitely the fourth best one, and he has just reward each friendly sin creature.
Yeah.
He goes really well with Greed, just so you can protect him forever.
Yeah, I want to be able to protect all of them.
Yeah, makes sense. I mean,
Yeah.
with this, if you have all four of them out, you can just go dis every single turn and still
Oh,
win.
absolutely. Yeah.
Um, so yeah, no, it's
And the
good.
reason why I chose 4, for people like wondering why, oh, 4 is a lot or 4 is a little, um, is because the name under Pride and Envy, there's a deck name, and I ended up looking up that deck list, and that deck list came with 4, so I figured it was a pretty safe number to go with.
Yeah. All right. So next we go into logos. So we got let God
Eclectic Inquiry.
eclectic inquiry. There we go. You gain one amber and then play archive top two cards of your deck.
So I chose this because it gives you free amber, and I'm gonna need it. But B, so being able to archive 2 cards is really fast, and it lets me set it up so that, like, when I pick up my archives, I'm not picking up 1 or 2 cards. I'm gonna be picking up, like, 10 cards or more. That's kinda how I'm gonna be running my, logos, is I am running draw because you can't run logos without draw, but I'm running logos with a lot of archive, and what this helps me do is it helps me set up for, like, I don't wanna be in a situation where I'm like, "Well, what if I had this discard, or what if I had this Saurian card?" This helps me plan my turns 2 turns in advance.
Yeah, makes sense. Next we have the Infomorph, which will give 2 of your cards draw, which are going to go to your Envy and your Gluttony.
Yep. Running Infomorph for two reasons. One, wanted to draw blips, wanted to thin out the deck. B, I felt like I really just needed another creature. He reaps, and he's a medium-sized boy at 4. So he's going to be helpful in a couple different ways.
All right. And next we have QMEX, who is play draw a card, and then we destroyed. You just put him in your archives.
Yeah, you play him, you draw, he doesn't die. Like, I mean, he dies, but he just comes right back. Um, having the archive from Eclectic Inquiry and then destroying QMEX. But this destroyed effect also goes with how I'm running my discs. So QMEX isn't left out when I decide to wipe my own board.
Makes sense. All right. Next we have Casual Loop, which is archive a card, and then archive Casual Loop.
I mean, read the effect. That's why I put it in the deck. So it's uncommon, and honestly, this was my replacement for library card. I had library card in the deck, but you'll notice that it's not there. Um, just I had too many rares, and I was trying to make it like somewhat realistic. I know people have pulled decks with like many, many, many rares and a lot more rares than I have listed, but our boys have pretty bad luck when it comes to pulls. So I decided to take out the library card, make it a little more realistic, throw in an uncommon. Um, and it's a really good card. You archive whatever you want, and it just helps you with setting up your turns in the future. And it archives itself, so you just keep getting this card. Like, good thing it doesn't come with an amber bonus because it would just be so much more broken.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I didn't really like do anything like that. I just put cards in the deck that I wanted. All right. Next we have Cronus. I don't think it's like I went too many, but either way,
Cronus. So where is that's number
he's right next
84,
to
right?
Casual Loop there.
Yeah.
He's the one that just gives draw two, and then after you resolve a draw bonus, you may archive a card.
Yeah, so if Cronus is on board, and I have my pride, greed, gluttony, envy, any of them, that just triggers, and being able to archive is really helpful. Plus, he's a creature, and he's a mutant. So if my opponent is playing the mutant game, I'll get some of the bonuses as well, as long as it doesn't say your mutant creatures.
Yeah, I think Cronus is good. Next we have to go all the way down here for Hyde. Where is he? Um,
He's number 104.
104. Oh, 102. Yeah, it was the next. I scrolled down one more. All right. Yep, we got Hyde and we got Valium. So I'll just talk about them together.
Oh, absolutely. So Hyde and Vellum in in Worlds Collide was meh. They weren't they were good, but we wanted them to be a little better than what they were. In this deck, I feel like it gives them a little time, a little safe space to shine. Not only do they both have decent reap effects, but if I'm running Dis with the mode of my destroy effects, and I have the creatures to fight, I can even use them to fight. Being able to archive him and Vellum, just it's really good. Things are gonna come back. Things are gonna come back a lot.
Yeah, I think they're pretty decent. Like you said, they didn't really shine in the last set. I thought they'd be much better, but we'll see how they are here. Next we have Mobius Scroll, which is I think is just another obvious card.
Yep. Being able to archive 3 cards a turn is really fast, and that's really
Yeah.
it.
And then after that is Redacted, which we didn't talk about on our review because it wasn't there.
Yeah, they added this late, and I'm glad they did because when building this deck, I was like, I need something to help me with keys, just in case I can't meet my win con 100% of the time. And Redacted was the obvious choice for that. I mean, there were some other key cheat ideas that I was playing with, but kind of threw off the synergy of the deck by a lot. So choosing Redacted, you just have to 4 turns. It's a key.
Yeah. Redacted's pretty good. It usually has to force them to deal with it.
Exactly.
Um, and next we have just the big guy.
Well, we have after Redacted, we have It's Coming,
Oh, it's coming. Yeah, yeah. Sorry,
but
I
I
skipped
mean
over
that just
that.
helps me look for my big boy.
Oh yeah, it's coming.
Um,
It's right here. Yeah, so just search your deck and discard pile for either half of them.
yep. Um, and then when we were talking about the idea for building our decks, like I'm pretty sure that's only going to be limited to one, but we can't confirm or deny that. But we just built our decks with the rule that we're only going to put one big boy in. And for me, I feel like my obvious choice was Ultra Gravitron. I think by far he's the best one. And if I'm running logos anyways, there's just no reason for me not to play him. His play effect goes well with the archive mode that I got going on with logos. I'm just archiving 5 cards, like all right, rip. Um, and being able to use those archives for more than just draws um, is going to be really helpful.
Yeah, he's insane. So.
Yeah.
All right, so that's it for the logos. Now we're going to go down to Saurian here. So
Let
starting
me
off with your
scroll
Saurian is
down.
Senator. No, not Senator. Citizen Strix.
Citizen.
Sorry, just habit of saying Senator Strix. And who's the blip coming from? Sorry, it gets cut off on my thing here.
The citizenship Strix is getting a capture blip from Console Primus.
Okay.
I just need to scroll to my citizen so I have the picture up. I know what he does. I just like to look at him. So Citizen Strix, obvious choice. My original list had 3, but I didn't want to get too greedy. But I am running 2. Um, it's just better than Senator. I know I kind of disagreed with that in the last videos, but I was thinking about it yesterday when I was making this deck, and I was like, this card's going places. This card's gonna be at every top table that runs Saurians, and I don't think it has to be. I just think people are going to bring this to every top table match. I think Saurians is a very powerful house on its own right now, so it doesn't need the Strix to be in top tables, but it's gonna make it push that extra mile. Being able to put the captured amber on it from exalting and stealing one, and you get one from the reap, it's just sick. And then what you'll notice as I go forward with my Dino Boys is I'm winning based on my captures, and that's what I'm gonna try to push for. So I want him to be exalted. I want all my cards to be exalted.
Yeah, no, Citizen Strix is real good. All right, next we have Console Primus, which you said the blip goes onto Strix, and he has Reap move 1, Amber from a creature to another creature.
This helps me set up my plays. Just really as simple as that. If I notice that there's a card on board that's gonna be a target, that's gonna be a really big target, and he has Amber on him, I'm gonna move that Amber. Or if it's another creature that has an ability that is utilized based on Amber being captured onto him, then I'm gonna move it, and so on and so forth. Or like an artifact or something that's like, oh, each creature with Amber on it does this. So that's why I threw him in the deck. I think he's really good. Adding the capture enhance makes him even better. He's a little weak in terms of power, but I don't need the power. He has great effects.
Yeah. All right, next we have Octavia, who has a capture blip. Once again, it's cut off, so I can't see from who.
He's coming. Dark Centurion.
Okay. And is that for the other one too, Faust?
Yep.
Okay. So, yeah, Octavia just has action capture too. It's really good. So,
Yeah. So Octavia's pretty beefy. It takes 6 damage to kill it. Which is great, especially if you're capturing Amber. I took him out of my list a couple times, but I made space just to I needed to put him in. There's just he captures 2, which is a lot. Um, and having being beefy is just it just helps him keep that captured Amber without having to give it back.
yeah, he's gonna be really good in a lot of decks.
Absolutely.
Next, we have Defense Initiative, which is play ward a creature. You may exalt that creature. If you do, ward its neighbors.
Being able to ward 3 guys, especially if all my dudes I have Amber on them, it gives me a good sense of like protection while I'm trying to get to my win con.
Yeah, and just having to exalt one of the creatures to get all of them warded is really good.
Yeah.
Next, we have 2 Foss the Greats, one with a capture blip, like he said from Dark Centurion. So he is, if your opponent's keys cost +1 for each friendly creature with Amber on it, play, you may exalt a friendly creature.
This gives me a little bit of control to the deck. Um, it helps me keep them off of their keys for a little longer. That's why I'm running 2. Because if all my creatures are gonna have Amber on it at some point, their keys are going to be costing a lot,
Yeah, it
even
makes
with
sense.
even with one. But even with one of them, but if I somehow have two on board, um, the reason why I chose two though is because he's a target. They kill one. I'm more often than not, I'm gonna try to not play him at the same time unless I need to keep them off key. Like if they have that much amber. Um, but most of the time, I'm gonna try to keep one on board and one in the archives.
Yeah. I'm interested why you didn't put at least one Ludo since you're going to be capturing so much.
I had Ludo um, in the original list. One second. Um, I originally did, but and you're right, he probably should be in the deck, but I didn't want to risk if my win con is gonna be winning off moving my amber to my supply. Um, I didn't want to risk it going to the common supply. I mean, I know it is a good strat, even if I can't put it to mine. It's good to make it so that they won't get their amber back. Um, but I feel like the card that I replaced it for my second Faust. Um, and I feel like having that second Foss is a little better because even if they get their amber back, they're still spending it all. Like it's not going to be left over.
Yeah, I can see that. All right, next we have two Ancient Powers, which of course is just going to ward all your friendly creatures with Amber on them.
Yep, and all my creatures are going to have amber on them. It was down to the last four cards of the deck, and I was like, all right, two cards need to give me protection, two cards need to help me with the strat, and I was like, all right, two Ancient Powers.
I'm surprised you didn't put one of those Ancient Powers to City State Interest.
I originally did. I had City State Interest in there, but we can't run more than 12 cards, unfortunately. City State Interest got replaced with one of the cards we're going to get to in a bit.
All right. The next we have the Dark Centurion, who does give two enhanced captures, which is on Octavia and Faust. And then we have it's move one amber from a creature to the common supply if you do ward that creature.
This is another reason why I took out Ludo, was because Ludo moves all of them, but using an action to move one and being able to ward my guys for more protection, it helps with the protection aspect. It makes it so I don't lose the amber. So when I get my strat up, I can move it to my pool. So it makes it flow a little better.
All right. Next we have pretty obvious pick if you're going to be capturing amber, which is Senator Brackus.
Yeah, that's my boy. Um, yeah, it's really obvious. It's one of my win cons between Senator Brackus and what's it, Gluttony?
Yeah,
Greed? Gluttony.
yeah.
Between him and Gluttony, just it's how I win.
Envy and Gluttony, the two.
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah. I mean, he's just really good. So
And it's all my friendly creatures. It's not one dude, two dudes. So he's gonna be next to all of my dudes that give wards. He's gonna be warded 100% of the time, and I'm not playing him unless I have a way to protect him because he doesn't have elusive. He doesn't have anything that protects him. He's a medium-sized boy, which means he dies to almost everything in the set. Um,
and he's a
so that
huge target.
huge target. So he's gonna be warded 100% of the time. If I can't ward him, he's in my archive.
All right, and then the last card of your deck is Monument to Strix, which is you could spend amber on this card as if it was in your pool. Move one amber from your pool to it, and if you have Citizen Strix, which you have two of them in your discard pile, move one amber from any player's pool to Monument of Strix instead.
Yep. It's my backup con. Same thing as running Gluttony and your boy. We just talked about him, Brackus. Um, it lets me use my amber, use the amber that I capture, and I can just move it over. And being able to take it from your pool is way too powerful. This card is going to be in every deck with Strix in it. If you pull a deck with Strix and not this card, chances are it might just stay in the wrap and be one of those bulk decks you sell.
I think you
Um,
could still have good decks even without it, because Strix is just so good, especially with Brackus or something like that.
I agree, it'll still be a good deck. I just don't think I think that if you're seeing it, okay, let me rephrase. If you see a deck at top tables with Strix, this will also be in the deck.
Yeah, that there's a good chance, yeah, for sure.
Um, it's just way too powerful. That's originally why I chose three. is because like I need at least one of them to die, but I also really want one on board. Um, but the reason why another reason why I took one of the Strixes out um, is A, I needed more defense for my boys. I needed more wards. Um, but B, I didn't want to draw on the Strix too many times, which I know is weird to say because it's a card you always want on board. Um, but I just feel like it works really well. It works
Well,
really well with.
well, yeah, people are gonna kill the Strix because you're gonna get amber on it, and they don't want to keep getting their amber stolen.
Absolutely. And I ran a couple. I didn't like run games because obviously we don't have cards in A and B. You can't like. There's no constructed format, so this is all just theoretical. But I did run a number generator, um, and I put in the numbers of all the cards that I have in the deck. I named them all 1 through 36, not the numbers that they're in the set, but 1 through 36. And I did like test hands and what I would draw, and it did flow really well.
That's good. Nice. All right. So that is his deck list. Now we're gonna go on to my deck list here, which I'm doing Logo, Star Alliance, and Untamed. So we have pretty much extremely different decks. Um,
Which is good.
trying to do different things. Mine's more of a Matt didn't have a lot of amber like gain on his cards. Mine has a lot more amber gain, where his was more capture. Mine's more of just gaining amber, just straight out. So
Mine's definitely a slower deck, but it's meant to be.
yeah, and like I said, my numbers might be off on rares and stuff like that, but I just kind of made a deck that I thought would be fun. Our first card that we're going to have is one auto encoder, which is the artifact after a card is discarded from your hand. Archive the top card of your deck. I just think this is a really good card. It just makes dead cards worth something, and we're probably going to be discarding a few of our cards, and we have like sloppy lab work that lets us, use this effect. So I just think it's a good card overall.
Yeah, this is one of the last cards that I took out of my logos.
Yeah. And then we have two booked in. We want to get through our decks as fast as possible, and this helps because we're just reaping to play the top card of our decks. It also makes it a target for your opponent.
Yeah, I think she's gonna be one of those cards that's. I think it's gonna be one of those like cards that people are gonna get really scared of, but don't really look at right now.
Yeah. Next, I have one daughter. Daughter's obvious. I'm just gonna get to draw an extra card. Next, we have an Inquiry, which gives me one amber, and then play archive 2 cards. Same reason Matt had it in his deck. It just gives you that archive of 2 cards, which is fantastic. Unlike Matt's deck, I don't have a ton of amber control, so one of my amber control cards is Evanescence Principle. It's just going to allow me to cut my opponent's amber in half. Also mine, but it's worth it in 99% of the times you're going to actually use it. If not, I can just archive it.
Yeah.
Or discard it and get an archive off of autoencoder. Next we have Infomorph as well. Thinking of it now, I had forgotten about Cronus. I should have probably put Cronus instead of Infomorph, but it's fine. He gives me 2 draws, which are going to go on my Niflapes later on, but he's pretty good. For more creature removal, I was going to put Standardized Testing, but I ended up putting Piston Bolt, which is down here. Deal 3 damage to a flank, 2 to its neighbor. Yeah, it's good, so put it in. Then we have Sloppy Lab Work, which of course is archive a card, discard a card, which means archive 2 cards because of autoencoder. So I just thought it was good. And then we have Cyberclone as our next card. He's insane. You just purge a creature, and then he becomes a copy of that creature. So I'm surprised you didn't put him in your deck.
He was.
Yeah, I know. When you were telling me you had like 28 cards, you're like, how do I make 12?
Yeah.
In comparison, this took Matt a long time yesterday. This took me like 15 minutes. Then I went and took a nap.
I wanted it to be good, man. I wanted to have reasons for things.
No, that's fine. It makes sense. Next, we have the Archivist. So I'm going to be archiving a pretty good amount of cards with my deck. So I want the Archivist so that way I can pick out the cards that I need when I'm playing the other houses. Because my goal is to be archiving my Niflapes and my other Untamed cards or my other Star Alliance cards, and then be able to combo off of them. So that's why this is a heavy combo deck. Uh,
The Archivist is a top 10 card, definitely. He was one of the last cards I took out of mine. The only reason I took mine out was because I don't care about draw phases when I have my whole deck in my hand.
yeah. Next, we have the Halloween Pit, which does the same thing as Daughter. This card also was not on the list when we did our review, but I love this card. It's fantastic. Each player draws an additional card during their
Yeah.
turn, so
And it
uh,
gives you amber.
yeah, and it gives you an amber for playing. I wrote down which cards give me amber because so I could count them. But
Yeah.
all right, so yeah, that's it for my logos. My logos is all about archiving and just getting through my deck. So, yep. Now we go down to the Star Alliance, which I guess scroll. Fun content of me scrolling. I go through the shadows too. All right, here we go. So we're at the Star Alliance now.
If you can check the box so it only has the houses in your deck.
Nah, that's fine. Too late. All right, I should have did that before. You're right. I didn't think about it because I'm looking at the recording screen so I can have the overlay of the deck lists.
Yeah.
So my first one is Explorover. Explorover is going to give one of my guys skirmish, or he can come out as a creature. It's versatile, and especially with what I'm trying to do. So I wanted something that could fill 2 roles without having to worry too much, and this was the card I wanted because of my Z-Force Agent 14, which we'll get to.
That guy.
Yeah, no, he's too good not to have, especially if you can give him skirmish, and this is the only
Yeah.
way to give him skirmish. Uh, Next we have Observe You Max, which is this creature gains Fight or Reap, Capture 1. So I'm going heavy on that upgrade route. So this is going to be one of the best upgrades I can actually put on any creature and still make it worth doing something. I did have Blasting Shield in, which gives 2 armor, which is fantastic, but I felt like the reach of being able to capture an amber is just better than giving 2 armor. So I ended up switching it. Next we have Anthony, who is play capture all your opponent's amber, and then he keeps just moving 1 every time. This card's fantastic. There's nothing
Really
wrong with this card. So definitely want this. This is going to be my pretty much... This is a good card with Green and Envy right here. Is Anthony, so...
Yeah.
Imagine getting a Maverick and Dis with that. That'd be sick.
I don't want to talk about it.
Next, I have Armory Officer Nell. I have 2 of those, and he is the one that says Enhanced Draw, which I did forget to put on something, so we'll just say it's on one of my other Niffle Apes, because that's where I'd put it anyways. And then, after an upgrade enters play, draw a card. So, like I said, I'm heavy on that upgrade route. He's going to be fantastic. It's just going to give me free draws. It's a great card.
Absolutely.
Next, we have Away Team. When he's destroyed, put each upgrade on Away Team into its owner's archives. It's just a way for me to be able to recycle all my stuff, putting them into my archives. I can use Archivist to just pick up my upgrades and use them when I need them. So, yeah, it made sense to have it in my deck. I did have Detention Coil in my deck, but I removed it because I remembered about this card down here, which is, where is he? Oh, I might have this slightly out of order. I think I do, yeah. So we'll go Transporter Platform first, which is action, return a friendly creature, and each upgrade to its owner's hand. It just lets you draw 1,000,000 cards off of Nell. If you have 2 Nells out, for every one you're playing, you're drawing 2 cards. So it gets really insane. So, fantastic card. And then we have Commander Drexka, who, after you attach an upgrade to him or one of its neighbors, gain 1 amber.
Straight and to the point.
Yeah, if you have Nell out, Transporter Platform, and let's say 3 of the upgrades, you're gaining probably 6 amber. You're drawing 3 cards. You're bouncing him, playing another one, gaining 6 more amber, drawing 3 more cards. So you gain 12 amber, draw 6 cards. Insane. So, what do we got next? Next we have Z Agent. So this is going to be the main combo card that I'm going to be using in Star Alliance. And he's Fight. You gain 1 amber for each upgrade on him. So this is why we want to give him Skirmish, because this just gives him the ability to fight, gain at least 1 amber from the skirmish, but he also comes with 3 more upgrades.
Yeah.
So, and they all give amber, which is good. The first one is this creature gains search your deck for an upgrade and put it into your hand. Shuffle your deck. So this card is fantastic. It's going to allow you to search out one of your other upgrades and equip it to him. Or somebody else. This creature gains 3 power and gains before fight. Deal 3 damage to each of the neighbors he fights. So he makes him 8 power. 8 power skirmish that does 3 damage splash is insane. Uh, so yeah, and then at the start of your turn, ward this creature. So now we have an 8 power skirmish that's warded, and that does 3 damage splash. uh, yeah, it's gross. Yeah, you're right. Because the skirmish makes it so he doesn't lose the ward every turn, so gives him your opponent's gonna have to use 2 cards at least to get rid of him. So yeah, I just thought it'd be a lot of fun using him. And yeah, so that's it for the star lines. Next we have Untame. I did have Ceopholist in my deck because I think he's really good, but I ended up taking him out for Ghost Hawk instead. Because Ghost Hawk's going to give me that little bit more reach. It allows me to deploy it to reap, use some of my reap abilities. I only have a couple, like Bot Booked In off of a Ghost Hawk is absolutely insane. It's just free cards. Oh. And with that, I also put in 4 Niffle Apes. 4 Niffle Apes isn't unrealistic. I have a Niffle Queen, which gives you a Niffle Ape, a Troop Call, which gives you a Niffle Ape, and I'm assuming Niffle Kong gives you at least 1, but possibly 2 Niffle Apes. So I thought 4 was fine. It made sense to me. And 3 of them are going to have draw on them, just to make them absolutely insane. Just play Niffle Ape, draw, and you can just recycle your Niffle Ape. So, yeah. And then we have Song of the Wilds. I was going to put a card that gave me an amber, but I think Song of the Wilds counts for more than 1 amber. And with something like Bot Booked In, it just, you can play it off of Bot Booked In if you accidentally do. And then if you reap with your logos, you still get something. With all the Niffle Apes and stuff, that's a lot. And if you are playing Starlines, it's probably, you're never going to get to use it, obviously. But, and with Ghost Hawk, obviously, it's really good.
Yeah.
Next, we have 1 Niffle Queen. I don't feel like we need more than 1 Niffle Queen. I think one's fine. It just makes our Niffles 5. Just makes them harder to kill because a lot of stuff in the set is 4. So we do want to just give them a little bit of power.
Yeah.
And when they do die, we do want to use Troop Call to put them all back in our hands. Just so we can play him again. And also, as of right now, because he is a Niffle, this works with Niffle Kong. So it allows you to get Niffle Kong pieces back from your graveyard, back to your hand, or to get them from the field back in your hand to play him, to play his ability to get your Niffle Apes again. If they get shuffled back into the deck. So, yeah, it's really good. I was going to put Vault's Blessing in my deck, but I don't have that many mutants, so I chose not to. The next we have Punctuated Equilibrium, which is just going to give us that. It's going to give us more reach. It's going to allow us to discard the rest of our cards, which counts for our auto encoder. So we're going to get to archive as well, and yeah, you can just search for your pieces of the Niffle Kong because I'm not running It's Coming because I don't know if you can get It's Coming in Untamed, so I chose not to put it in because I don't know. I know you can get it in Saurian and Logos, and I'm assuming Untamed, but just wanted to be safe.
I don't see why they would leave it out.
Yeah. And then I put Word of Returning, which is just going to give me all my amber back from all the captured amber. So this is like Matt's anti-card, and he hopes not to see ever. Because it's just going to give me all the amber on all the captured amber on my opponent's side. And then, of course, we have Niffle Kong, who is play search your deck for and discard pile for any number of Niffle creatures, reveal them, and put them into your hand. So this gets your Niffle Apes, get your Niffle Queens. You're gaining, from playing 1 card, you're getting 5 cards out of your deck and being able to play them, and 3 of those Niffle Apes have draw 1. So, yeah.
How does the interaction between Word of Returning and I know I'm not really running much, but like if I had the effect return all amber to common supply, like is there a priority there? Or?
Well, this doesn't destroy him, so it says deal 1 damage to each enemy creature for each amber on it. If it was to kill them, that activates first, so they would go to the common pool. But then it says return all amber from those creatures to your pool.
Oh yeah,
So
it takes them back. Yeah.
yeah, as long as it doesn't kill the creature, it returns them back to my pool.
And my creatures are pretty hard to kill, so yeah, it ruins me.
Yeah. So this kill it pretty much kills warded creatures that have lots of amber on them. Word of returning is nuts. But yeah, so and then Kong also says, fight a reap. You may destroy a friendly Niffle creature. If you do, deal 3 damage to a creature, steal 1 amber, and destroy an enemy artifact. We can recur our Niffle apes pretty easily, so this is really good. Yeah, so I thought it would just be a fun deck to play.
It's kind
But
of why I built mine. Fun deck.
yeah, uh, all right. So now we're gonna talk about this little bit of a list. It's only a few cards long. Uh, so let's start with this. What's your underrated card?
My underrated card, and you're gonna find this as a surprise, but I think Commune's really is gonna be underrated.
What is it?
Commune, the one where you lose. I think it's
Oh
2
yeah,
amber,
lose
then
all
you
your
gain 4.
amber, gain
You lose all
4.
your
Yeah,
amber and gain 4. I think that's gonna be. I think that's underrated because I already see it being underrated. I see a lot of people talking bad about this card. Um, but it's just so powerful. Um, you're not gonna play it on a turn that you have 4 or more amber like that. You're dumb. Um,
in that
being
case, you
able
just discard it.
exactly. Or, if I had it in my deck, which I don't even run Untamed, but archive it if you can. You know? And a lot of people are like, "Oh, that's bad. You don't ever want to lose amber. You don't ever want to take amber away from yourself." In most cases, yeah, but if you have 1 amber and I lose it to gain 3 extra, like rip that 1 amber, I guess. Like I see it being a hated card already and in not the right way. So that's why I think it's underrated. I think it's just too good.
Yeah, see, I think the thing is, people think it's like, oh, you lose amber, okay, but it's if you have 3 or less, it's good, and the chances most of the time you have around 3.
Yeah.
Um, this is probably the worst card in the game that to get a amber blip on because it's just pointless.
I feel real bad.
Yeah, it feels real bad, but I think the card's fantastic. It's no worse than Treasure Map on turn 1.
Yeah.
So, um, I see it as fantastic. If it's not doing what you need it to do, you discard it. That's fine. You can archive it, have it sit there. You play on Tamed, you can't gain any amber because all you have is creatures. Boom. You play Commune,
Sure.
you're back at 4. So,
Or throw it under that legacy Jargoggle you're gonna pull.
yeah. Even if you have 2 amber, this is still gain 2 amber. That's all it says.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I don't know what people's problem is with the card. I think it is a fantastic card. Uh, my underrated card is actually a Star Alliance card here. It's a Secure Droid, who I think is really good. He's the taunt, the 4-power taunt, and then he can be played as an upgrade to give other creatures taunt. I think he's really good. I think most people are gonna be like, yeah, he's kind of bad, but
I think he's real good.
yeah,
Being able to give anyone taunt is great, and if you don't have anyone to give taunt to or have anyone that you want to have taunt, just being a taunt boy himself, like perfect.
yeah, you can throw this on some pretty big creatures as well as being able to put it on creatures that are easily warded.
Or
Um,
that have destroy effects.
yeah, or that have destroy effects, or just to have poison or something like that. He's really good.
Yeah.
All right, so what do you think is the best card in the set?
Um. Well, best card and favorite card are two different for me.
Yeah.
Best card, Eaton's Jar, in my opinion. I
Oops.
think Eaton's Jar is just way too good of a card and should never have been printed.
I gotta get to it. Oh
Name
yeah,
a card until it
it's
leaves play
ET.
with name cannot be played.
Yeah, no, I know. I was spelling it wrong. I was putting EAT.
You're
Yeah,
gonna, in Archon, you get to see your opponent's deck list, and being able to say no, you can't is way too powerful.
yeah. Especially if, like I said, if you can get more than one of these in a deck, it can be absolutely devastating because you can just Eaton's jar away their artifact control and then play the other one to get rid of their good card.
Yeah,
And it's pretty
it's not.
much GG at that point.
But it was a tie between for best card. It was a tie between this and library card though, because library card is just library access but reprinted.
Yeah, pretty much. But I think this is just better because you can play this and go library access.
Yeah,
Um, I don't know. This card is nuts, and I'm very surprised that they printed something like this.
it's like the equivalent to them saying take another turn.
Yeah, in some cases, yeah. Uh, if you can get like a the card that makes them play a house, you play that. If you know that they might have that certain card in their hand, you make them play that house, play this, then they can't play that card. It would feel real bad. So, yeah. It's a great card. For me, I picked the Archivist.
Archivist is real good.
The Archivist just... I was debating over this and the Saurian guy that lets you play two actions, pretty much, the same action twice.
You know how much I didn't want to take the Saurian boy out of my deck? I didn't.
Yeah,
I didn't want to do it.
it's hard because he's just so versatile, but it's yeah, it came down to those two, and I just think in 99% of the cases the Archivist is just going to be better because it does
Yeah.
something without being able to be stopped. Your opponent can't stop this unless they have that guy from Coda that discards your opponent's archives.
Yeah.
So he's just gonna sit there and always be value.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean this card is insane. So, um, now what's your favorite card from the set?
My favorite card is Mobius Scroll.
Oh, Mobius Scroll. I don't even have to.
It's so fast, and it's so fast for no reason. It's fast for free.
Yeah, it's really good. If you can get, like I said, if you can get a blip on it, which I'm surprised you didn't put a draw blip onto this.
I thought
Um,
about it.
it's nuts because you're just gonna be keep recurring it every time you play every other time you play logos. You're gonna be
Yeah.
playing this card again.
That and it has a fantastic art. Like it's just the card in general is just overall great.
Yeah, it's a really good card. I think it's a really good reprint too.
Yeah.
For me, mine is Ritual of Tognath, which is the discard. Where is it? I think it's yeah, right here. So it's the one that gives you 3 amber and then destroy 2 friendly creatures.
Hmm.
I really want to play this card. Like, I cannot wait to play this card. I want to get this card with a Screaming Cave deck and just have a good time with it. So
That was my original build was that card with the Screaming Cave and then having all the destroyed effects, but I wanted to go more synergetic with my dinos.
yeah, and that's fair. Um, but yeah, I just want to slam this card on the table as much as I
Yeah.
can. And which card do you wish was reprinted?
Exhume. Not even
Exhume.
a question. Exhume.
Yeah, see, I'm glad Exhume's not reprinted because I feel like it'd be too strong.
That's why I want it in the deck. Because if we're when we go to Vault Tours, I'm bringing this. When we go to this just not it's not a thing. It's a thing. I'm
Yeah,
bringing this. Period. I want Exhume. Um, it nerfs Infernus a little bit, which is fair. Um, I'm sure you're surprised that I didn't put Infernus in my deck because it's my favorite card in this. Uh, but um, yeah, I really want Exhume back. I love that card, and I feel like it's a little less powerful than some of the other cards they reprinted.
yeah. Mine was between two, but I chose Bait and Switch. Uh,
Really?
and the reason is because one, I want to see the nerfed text on it.
Yeah.
Because there's no reprint since they changed the text. None of the cards that they've changed the text have been reprinted yet, so we've yet to see what a redacted card looks like. Not redacted itself, um, but it was between. And there's not as much steel in shadows, and I feel like they need some help. And I feel like Bait and Switch would just give them that 2 amber steel action card that they might really need.
Well, they did kind of yeah, I agree. They did kind of reprint the redacted card. The library card is just library access.
Yeah, but I mean the actual card. Like the actual card that was changed. The text was technically changed in the FAQ. Um, yeah, uh, my other pick was too much to protect, but I feel
I
like
was
too
just
much
about to ask why didn't you pick too much to protect over bait and switch if you wanted the steal?
because I feel like too much to protect a lot of the times. If when you're playing it, it's fantastic, but when you're playing against it, it's a feel bad card.
Yeah, like
Um,
today, and I lost to it.
yeah, it's like okay, I'm at this much amber. Okay, he has 20 cards left in his deck. If he has too much to protect, I lose. And of course, they always have too much to protect. A good example of this is one time me and Vin were playing at That's E, and it was turn 4 or something like that, and I got up to like 15 amber or something, and
Mhm.
I was like, bro, you've drawn like 6 cards. I was like, if you have too much to protect, I literally just lose. And then he had too much to protect.
Well, I mean that's the problem. You go up to 15. You don't go up to 15 amber against shadows.
Well, I went up to 15 amber against 6 drawn cards. You know what I mean? 12 drawn cards total, pretty much.
Yeah.
Um, so it wasn't like a huge risk early on. If it's late game, yeah, of course, if they haven't played it. But early on, I feel like I had to make that push because this deck was too fast. But yeah, no, it's just a feel bad card. But if that was bait and switch, I would still be fine. You know, not having that is gonna make not having like bait and switch. I'm not bait and switch, but too much to protect or lose a million amber cards. I think it's gonna make Anthony and also Gluttony insanely good because they're not. There's nothing to compete with them.
Yeah.
You're just taking all of your opponent's amber, no matter how much they have.
Yeah.
But Legacy, too much to protects are gonna be real good.
Those decks are going for some decent cash.
Yeah, as long as they have some decent cards um,
Yeah.
around it. I mean, if they have 4 Secret Needles and 3 Mutant Cut Purses, and then the Shadow Legion guy, the leader, then they're probably not going to be selling for anything.
Yeah.
um, but
I mean,
yeah,
I guess that's fair because, Shadows in general is kind of meh, which I'm actually really happy about. I'm happy about the nerf that Shadows got.
yeah, I just think because with Worlds Collide, the 3 houses you see the most are Logos, Saurian, and Star Alliance, right? In like the top decks. I feel like you're not going to see as much Star Alliance, but you're still going to see Logos and Saurian in every top deck.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be about 60% Soaring, 60% Logos, um, 20% Saurian, 20% this. I think.
I think it's going to be 80% Saurian.
Um, I'm gonna disagree with you on the Star Alliance though. I think we're gonna see more Star Alliance than we did before.
I just think it's going to be harder to get good Star Alliance because there's not as many good creatures. And the creatures rely on other things, whereas Star Alliance from now, they don't need other creatures to be good. I mean, you throw down Kirby, he's already good. You throw down the guy who says when you play him, reveal a non-Star Alliance card and archive it, and it's play, reap, or fight.
See,
Like those cards are nuts.
I think in Worlds Collide, I think Logos and Star Alliance were two opposite um houses. But I think this set, Logos and Star Alliance complement each other very well. And if we're already seeing Logos in top decks, I think that Star Alliance is going to come with a lot of those decks. Especially like being able with all the draw power, with all the archive power that they didn't get a nerf. Logos didn't get a nerf like Shadows did. So with all the low drawing and all the archive, I think you're going to be able to plan your Star Alliance plays out, and I think it's going to be very hard to deal with. I don't think we're going to see Sanctum at all. I don't think we're going to see much of Untamed. I think we're going to see more Untamed than Sanctum, but I think that I'm very disappointed at what they did. They brought back Sanctum, which, yeah, whatever, cool, but they brought it back and it's somehow worse than before.
I think they're going to be decent with Saurians because they do capture, and I feel like a lot of those capture synergies are going to still work. But I feel like they made way too many reprints
I
and
think they
sank
well,
them.
they took out a lot of the capture and they replaced it with fight. Like, sorry, I don't want my weak Sanctum boys, I don't want them dying every turn. Like, I don't want them to be so easy. They are easily, like, the weakest house.
Yeah, I think they are the weakest house, but I think in certain situations they could be extremely good. But it's going to be hard to get a good Sanctum deck
Like, if
compared
like,
to
if
Coda,
like,
especially.
looking back at it, like, yesterday when I was building my deck, how if I chose Sanctum, my list would have been done in 3 seconds because I know what cards are good, I know what cards are bad, and 75% of the cards are bad,
Yeah.
and that's how it is. But it took me about an hour and a half for this. It took me about an hour for logos, and it took me like 45 minutes ish for Saurians because just every card, give or take like a few, like 98% of Dis logos and Saurians is great. I would say a solid 88% of Star Alliance, great. Shadows is teetering on that like 65-70%. Untamed got it. I think Untamed's got a really good buff. I like what they're doing with Untamed. I'm really interested to see how Untamed plays. But Sanctum's just like, all right. I mean, I guess you can teach people how to play Keyforge with this deck.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah,
Um,
for sure.
just never know. Some random deck with real good, Sanctum could be the top deck, and we just don't see it yet.
But no Brobby boys though, and I think that's why they made Sanctum want to fight more is because no Brobby boys.
Yeah, with Brobnar gone, they needed something that's going to fight, or else everybody would just be reaping.
But I think that the problem is Brobnar already didn't fight well. Like their job was to fight, but you didn't see them in a lot of top decks unless it was like Gangernaut. Like
Yeah,
other than that, like Brobnar's job is to fight, and they weren't even fighting. Like
it's because fighting in 99% of the cases is just worse than reaping.
yeah, and I feel like since they already weren't good enough at their own job, Sanctum's doing even worse at it. They're enraging themselves for a lot of the time. They're not warding themselves, which yeah, you like you said, it works well with Saurians who has a lot of ward. Um, but like their fight abilities just aren't great. Like we see better fight abilities out of Dis and Saurians. And I think Untamed. I can't recall.
Yeah, I tell you what though, I'd just be happy to get any decks.
Oh, absolutely. Like we went up to buy that box so you can get that content, for later on, and I can't wait to play those games. I don't care if I pulled the worst deck. I don't care if you key me. Like Crucible's actually really fun. Like I didn't think it would be this fun, but it's not the same as throwing down a bomb and seeing the face of your opponent go, "What?" Like it's nothing. The flicking cards, like I miss it.
Yeah, I can't wait to just I'm on my way to check Target right now. Um, oh, they lost like all their stuff. What happened?
People like us bought it. Watch out for more Keyforge channels popping up.
They still have the two-player starter sets, but that's it. Um, they had mats and stuff like yesterday, but they're all gone.
Nice.
Um, yeah, so I think the set's fantastic. Where do you think it ranks? Because I'll give you my ranking real quick. I think Worlds Collide still number one.
Oh, you threw me a curveball here. Hold up. I
Uh,
gotta write. I gotta write it down. You go.
I think Worlds Collide still number one. I think Coda's still number two. This is going to be number three, and AOA is so far back, it's not even funny.
So, how do you want me to rank it in terms of my favorite
Best to
set
worst. Yeah,
or best
best
to
best to
worst?
worst.
All right, I'm gonna do both. I think number one. I think this is gonna be the best set. I think there's a lot of hidden potential that we don't realize right now, and when we originally read the leak list for Worlds Collide, it kind of went similarly to how we read this list. Oh, this card's broken. Oh, that's gross. Oh, that's gross. So, but then when as the set went on, there were so many things that we didn't expect to happen that happened, and I think there's a lot more potential for that in this set. So I think this is going to be the number one set. I think this is going to be the most powerful set. Followed very closely though by Worlds Collide. I think Worlds Collide is going to be number two, and you're going to hard disagree, but I think AOA is better than Coda.
I
Smite
mean,
me.
I mean, statistically, it's not even close. But I'll let you have whatever you want.
The reason why I'm saying that though is because I feel like the majority of decks in AOA are bad. A lot of the cards don't synergize with each other. But look at any like top table deck that they brought from AOA, and those AOA decks can beat any Coda deck.
Well, I think no AOA deck has won any of the Archon Voltors. I think it's been all Coda and then Worlds Collide.
I think that's because the good AOA decks are a lot harder to come by. And the deck that I made day two with was AOA, and I feel like no, it wasn't. Sorry, it was Worlds Collide. But one of the decks that helped me get into day two was AOA. I went 1-1 because it was survival, and I lost by like 2 amber. Like it wasn't a lot, but I feel like and it was by a play. It was by a pretty big play mistake too. I would have went 2-0, and 3 whatever, or 2-1 whatever. Either way, I lost to my own play mistake, and I feel like if I was a better player, if I was one of the two finalists who made it that day, um, and they were piloting that deck, um, I feel like it would have went a lot farther. I think the reason why AOAs aren't winning the like number one spot is because those decks are a lot rarer to come by. But I feel like the control. I think if we're ranking it like what sets are trying to do, Coda is trying to be fast. Coda is trying to do what it needs to do, get in, get out. AOA is trying very hard to be a control-y set, and unfortunately, there's very specific cards you need to be able to be good at being control-y. Um, so I think that's why they're a lot harder to come by. But they're also pretty fast. Like if you get the right pulls, they're pretty fast. But I think the gap between AOA and Worlds Collide, like when Worlds Collide came out and we went to that first Vault Tour after Worlds Collide, um, I don't know if you remember how mad I was about the gap, like literally the gap between how powerful Worlds Collide was from AOA.
Well, yeah, I
It's
think
not,
I don't even think it's close, but I think Coda is closer to Worlds Collide by far than AOA, just
and that's
from
fine.
results.
And that's I just think that it wasn't given the proper, it's not given the proper chance to shine. I think with the right cards, I think AOA is better than Coda. I think the reason why Coda is showing better results is because it's a lot easier to pull a good deck out of Coda. It's a lot harder to pull a good deck out of AOA. So people are going to put all their resources into Coda. But either way, it's fine. It's fine to not agree on a set. But I just think even the gap between Worlds Collide and Coda is a lot. The reason why Coda is good at handling Worlds Collide is because it handles wards really well. See, AOA doesn't handle wards really well.
I just think that
That's really it.
Coda's too fast for AOA to be able to keep up, and Worlds Collide's too big for AOA to keep up. And this set is
I
going to
agree with
be,
the latter statement. I agree with the Worlds Collide comment. I don't agree with the Coda comment because I've housed a lot of Coda decks.
and I think that like this set is not going to be nearly as fast or as consistent as Worlds Collide. Um, I just I just don't see it being able to keep up with a fast Worlds Collide deck. But if it's a grindy game, then yeah, these decks are probably going to win. Um, but it
The deck
depends.
you
It depends what blips you're getting on your cards too, because there's some combos. If you get a blip on it, the card's absolutely nuts. One of the best cards in the game. But if you're not getting good blips on your cards, which is infinitely more random than anything else that's ever existed in the game, then it's hard to say.
well, it makes decks more unique, which is great. But looking back on the lists and, everyone watching, if you haven't already done so, go watch those videos of us going over every card. But I feel like Worlds Collide had a kind of like it did have a fast tempo. I feel like they didn't expect Saurians to be as powerful as they are. Because wards is the most broken mechanic in the game. And anyone who disagrees is just wrong. Um,
See,
but
I don't agree, but yeah.
I think that I think wards would be more balanced if it wasn't affected by return to hand effects. But that's that either way. I think that the what this set is doing, I think because of the blips, I think because of, you know, the higher uniqueness of this set, I feel like it's giving players a chance to be fast or slow. I think there's going to be a lot of great decks that run both tempos.
Yeah, I just want to play some decks.
I think it's a little better than Worlds Collide, but I think the or it's going to be a little better than Worlds Collide because obviously we don't know yet. Um, but I don't think it's a big margin. I don't think it's even close to the same margin as AOA or Coda is to Worlds Collide. I think both Coda and AOA are very far from both of these two sets, from Worlds Collide and Mass Mutation.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll find out. We'll see what happens at the first Voltor that this is legal. Which, who knows? It might be Origins.
If yeah, I mean we already have our tickets to Origins if they decide, and then so if they decide to have Voltor there in October still, then we'll be there.
Yeah, if they do a Voltor before that and it's close enough, we'll probably end up going to that as well.
Oh, absolutely. Like
Um,
I'm hoping for another Albany one. That would be great.
yeah, if they could put it anywhere within like here to Atlantic City kind of thing, I think we'd be in.
Anywhere from here into anywhere before Ohio. Because if we'll drive to Ohio, then we'll go before Ohio.
Yes, so 13-mile circle radius. We're in. Um, yeah, you gotta get our passports just in case they do it in Montreal. Um,
Yeah.
that'd be sick. Because we did have a lot of French people at the Albany Voltor who came down from
Yeah.
Montreal and stuff like that.
That would be a good idea. Maybe if we get those second round of COVID checks.
Yeah, right. That'll help. Yeah, look out for your COVID checks in the mail, guys. Keep pushing it with your legislator to get the COVID checks passed. Um,
That way you can go to more Volt tours.
yeah, you can go to more Voltor. You could buy a case of this set.
Support FFG, man. I don't usually say that often, but we need Keyforge.
Yeah, and try not to buy stuff from Target. If they release it early, obviously buy stuff from Target, but make sure you're also buying stuff from your local game stores because they're the ones who are going to be hosting the events. Target's not going to be hosting events. They don't need the money. They don't care about the product.
You also probably learned how to play at your local game store, so always pay back.
I don't know. I learned at Target, bro. Some guy in the bathroom was teaching me. Um, I want to bring up one more thing. They changed Dark Amber Vault. It is now Dis. The Dis pitcher.
I'm changing my deck. No, it doesn't really do much for my deck, to be honest.
No, but it's I'm just still confused. Where did they get that logos picture? Because it did not have the icon saying that.
We probably missed something.
But it's a special rare, so I'm thinking it could be in any house.
Yeah, maybe.
But we won't know until we start opening decks, or if somebody can open one from the UK who are people are opening cases full of these decks, which is nuts and makes me angry. But
I mean, we did the same thing though. We got Target early, so we can't be too mad.
yeah, but they got official released early without even you can't scan the decks in or anything. But it's just I just want it so bad.
Yeah, everyone does.
Yeah, so there's 418 cards in the set. I'm not sure how many cards are in the other sets, but I'm guessing it's about the same. Let me check. Coda has 370. AOA has 370, and Worlds Collide had 405. So actually, this set has more cards than. Oh, but it's kind of a weird thing because it has those dual cards, the Umbra Fiend and stuff that push it over. I think so. I think it would be
Yeah.
under 400 without those
I don't know. There's one,
because
two,
there's six
three.
of those in every house.
Yeah. So six,
So
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's
yeah,
what
it's
30,
42.
42.
Yeah, there's 42 of those, which brings it down to 378. So 376.
I feel, you know what? I think I'm gonna change. I think my undergraded thing. I think all those boys are the most underrated. I think those are gonna help people out a lot.
I think if you get the right one, it's gonna be good. But if you're getting the Umbra Fiend, elusive, destroy steel one, you're doing pretty bad. And it's just
It,
gonna feel bad.
listen, it depends. It depends, bro.
No,
Also, Dark
it's
Minion having an enhance on itself, real mint.
yeah. I don't like Dark Minion. I don't think it's great.
I like it a lot.
Explosion. Now that's a card right there.
Explosion also really good.
But all right. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Went a little longer than I'd hoped it was going to, but that's fine. If you guys have any opinions on the set, make sure you guys put them down below. Answer the same questions we answered if you like. What's your favorite card? What's the most underrated card? The best card? Stuff like that. Make sure you comment that down below. And look out for videos in the future. I might take tomorrow off of posting a video and then restart on Tuesday. Matt, I believe, is coming over Tuesday so we can record a bunch of matches.
Yeah, I'll let you know on that.
Oh, what, you sick now? Um, so yeah, then we're gonna record a bunch of matches, and so I can just get content for the future. Of course, with COVID, can't come over all the time. Um,
And we'll be playing 6 feet apart.
more like 3.5 feet apart, but
Listen, it's okay.
or halfway social distancing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so everybody, make sure you stay safe, and we'll see you guys in the future.
Yep,
See ya.
yep.